In 1 week, I read a biography of Napoleon Bonaparte, Emperor of France, and Mother Teresa.
Ooh.
And here, here's kind of the lesson that I got from it. Napoleon Bonaparte had more wealth, money, power, women, sex,
Yeah.
glory. Yeah, just every goodie that the world has to offer.
Yeah.
Probably more than anybody before him ever had, and I'm not sure anybody since has had that much.
Mm.
He of the material goodies, boy, he had it. That same week, I read a biography of Mother Teresa. Mother Teresa, she owned four things: three cotton saris that she wore and the sandals on her feet. Other than that, she had no possessions. Her entire life was dedicated to God and service to man.
Wow.
Okay, so, and by the way, her specialty was taking care of lepers who were dying. And I don't know if you've been with dying people, but it's not a lovely, beautiful experience. Well, in a way, it is, but
Yeah.
at least on the physical level,
Yeah.
well, it's not something that most people would choose. It's difficult. I mean, there are people in hospice who say that it's just one of the most moving things in the world. Uh, they're built of different stuff from me, and so is Mother Teresa. So,
Yeah.
so, so she had what, to an outsider would look like just a terrible life. Three cotton saris, and by the way, not fancy saris, but the ones that were woven by lepers,
Mm.
uh, and the sandals on her feet. Can you get more opposite from
Yeah.
Napoleon? Okay, who was happier?
Mm.
And not to put you on the spot, I will answer my question. At the end of his days, Napoleon was isolated in an island in this, I think it's the South Atlantic, Elba. No, St. Helena. Uh, no, he died there, but he did have people around him who were writing down what he said. And one of the things he said was when he looked back on his life of all that money, power, sex, just the
Yeah.
goodness of the world, he said he couldn't count 5 consecutive happy days.
Mm.
The
Wow.
world's goodies did not make him happy. What about Mother Teresa, who had virtually none of the world's goodies?
Yeah.
She said, looking back on her life, my life has been a feast of unending joy.
Mm.
So the person who served others
Mm.
was joyous. The person who made his living stealing from people and creating wars and taking
Yeah.
uh, couldn't have 5 happy days.
Golly.
Is that not a lesson?
It's a lesson. And I love that. I don't believe that there's ever coincidences in how we read things or how things are presented to us. And so, what a beautiful symmetry just in that week of having the revelation of reading that biography and then the next one and being like, oh, like just breath of life as you go into the very next moment after those different experiences. I love that you shared that. What a dynamic experience.
Yeah, I do think it changed my life. I think my parents brought me up with an idea of service, but Napoleon the taker and
Yeah.
uh, Mother Teresa the giver. Yeah, which would you rather? Would you rather have
Yeah.
a feast of unending joy or
No, unending joy, that's eternity, right? And who knows where Napoleon went, but I could imagine. And so I just think about that and like I would give it all. That woman, the alabaster woman, she gave it all and she had no idea the extent to which she was going to be blessed. And she was never really mentioned again, but it said that no one would forget her name. And look, here we are 2000 years later talking about her. And so I just think it was a seal from heaven and like gives me such freedom to keep doing things. And like, how much bigger did Mother Teresa get to do things because she knew that that bigger, just as all the things that you've been able to do with the different platforms and access points and resources you've been given to make way for others to thrive and for ultimately kingdom expansion.
well, allow me to share something that I got a lot of attention for. I
Yeah.
didn't do it for attention, but after visiting Ukraine the first time, I was so impressed by the courage, the patriotism, just the goodness of the people that I met. Example, those children that I mentioned who wanted to study physics even when their city's being bombed.
Yeah.
Uh, during that time, we knew that the Russians were bombing the power stations. I mean, they did it while I was there. In fact, I even visited a power station where the next day it was bombed.
Wow.
And just like put out of commission. Uh, I left from that first trip with the feeling I want to do everything I can to help Ukraine. And among the things that we knew was when a power station's bombed, there's no heat, there's no light, and
It's freezing in December.
well, I was there when it was 20 degrees,
Oh my goodness.
and it is December. And can you imagine the following? I talked with people who endured this. You're in an apartment building. Say you're in the 20th floor. There's no electricity. There's no light. There's no heat. You can't cook. The elevators don't run. And the 21st of December, the winter solstice, it's dark 15 hours a day. Well, can you imagine being cold, terrified, and you can't distract yourself with your iPad or something?
Yeah, no.
There's just nothing. And I talked with one guy who told me what it was like. He said, you're just sort of taken over by, he speaks English.
Yeah.
He used the word torpor, where you're, even when it's daylight, when you've had this 15 hours of dark, just lying there, cold, he said, it just saps your energy. It's just, he said it's undescribable, but I think our imaginations can get us part way there.
Yeah.
Well, when I came back from Ukraine the first time, I had my late husband gave me an emerald ring as an engagement present. It was an emerald that came from the sunken treasure ship Atocha. The Atocha sank in 1622, and when it was recovered in, well, almost 350 years later, Frank Perdue was one of the financial backers of recovering it. And he got many, 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 I mean, how about millions of dollars worth of treasure from it?
Yeah.
He gave it almost all away. He gave it to the Smithsonian, and he also gave it to to found a museum in Delaware.
Wow.
And he did that because Delaware, to have a museum means more tourism. So he did it kind of to help Delaware, which is a neighbor state.
So neat.
Yeah, it is so neat. But he did keep a near perfect emerald, and near perfect emeralds are very rare. And he had it cut into a stone that would, he inherited, not inherited, he was, as a backer, he was given a crystal that's sort of the size of my little finger.
Mm-hmm.
My finger up against something dark.
Yeah.
And there was a perfect emerald hidden within the crystal, and he had it cut, and he gave it to me as an engagement present. How's that?
It's amazing.
You want to impress a lady, that's
impressive. That works. Wow.